pop star has been known to push the envelope with her work, recently posing for an irreverent series of photos involving religious imagery, as well as the simulated remains of multiple deceased children. It is currently unknown if the photo shoot contributed to the accusations currently leveled against her. Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to the Hard Light Network. Today, we're going to be covering the human trafficking allegations facing international pop star and singer Madonna. Recently, allegations against the celebrity performer and philanthropist have surfaced accusing her of using her ties to charitable agencies as a means of trafficking children for exploitative purposes. According to one source, the Ethiopian World Federation, EWF, a philanthropic group, has accused Madonna of trafficking and sexually abusing children from Malawi. Pop star Madonna herself adopted 4 kids from Malawi, a landlocked nation in Southeast Africa. She established the nonprofit organization Raising Malawi in 2006, with the goal of assisting orphans and vulnerable children via health and education initiatives. The EWF has requested that Malawian President Lazarus Chakwera investigate Madonna's charitable endeavors and restrict her associates' ability to access Africa and African children as a precautionary measure until a thorough investigation is done into child sex trafficking, exploitation, slavery, adoption reversal, threat of coercion, fraud, deception, and abuse of power or vulnerability. The petition also refers to Madonna's book, Sex, published in 1992, which contained adult material, softcore pornography, and sadomasochism. In Malawi, pornographic material and LGBTQ conducts are illegal. Quote, gay porn stars were photographed in pornographic pictures with Madonna performing vulgar sex acts with the same sex, which should have been disclosed during her adoption case in 2006 in Lilongwe, Malawi. Madonna had to sign a contract that forbade the book from including images of child pornography, bestiality, or religious imagery. Shortly after signing that agreement, Madonna founded a company called Maverick, a partnership with Time Warner. She now holds total artistic control over any work released by Maverick, who is now the book's publisher. The agreement she signed with Time Warner with the sexually explicit content in the book Sex was null and void, the EWF's petition stated. According to the group, the singer allegedly used her adoptive son from Malawi, David Banda, for sexual exploitation and social experimentation. The EWF also charged Madonna with making false statements about David's father's absence in her adoption application. On the surface, it would seem that despite the provocative headlines, the major conflict here seems to be a political one, issuing from the small country's rather conservative stance on unconventional sexual practices. Madonna's support of the LGBTQ community has been public for decades. However, she did not formally disclose her professional association with the movement in her 2006 adoption case, seemingly opening her up to more severe accusations. There is a link in the description to a Twitter thread that digs a little deeper into these allegations. However, I don't believe everything being claimed in the post. Nevertheless, it was an interesting read as I was looking into this story. The pop star has been known to push the envelope with her work, recently posing for an irreverent series of photos involving religious imagery, as well as the simulated remains of multiple deceased children. It is currently unknown if the photo shoot contributed to the accusations currently leveled against her. However, it is important to note that Malawi is a critical region for human trafficking in Africa. Due to Malawi sharing borders with multiple other countries as well as its high level of poverty, human trafficking operations use it as a transitory location for the exchange of forced labor and sex trafficking victims. The country has struggled with this issue for years, to the point where even the United Nations has declared a state of alarm over the level of human trafficking happening in the small landlocked African nation. According to the U.S. Department of State, quote, traffickers exploit most Malawian victims within the country, generally lured from the southern part of the country to the central and northern regions for forced labor in agriculture, predominantly the tobacco industry, goat and cattle herding, and brickmaking. Many cases of child labor external to the family involve fraudulent recruitment and physical or sexual abuse, indicative of forced labor. Traffickers, primarily facilitators, family members, or brothel owners, lure children in rural areas by offering employment opportunities, clothing, or lodging, for which they are sometimes charged an exorbitant fee, resulting in sex trafficking. Traffickers exploit teenage boys in forced labor on farms and girls in sex trafficking or other forms of sexual exploitation in nightclubs or bars. As a result of restaurant and bar closures during the pandemic, observers report that private homes, especially in Lilongwe and Blantyre, have started operating as illegal brothels and bars. Operators of these establishments exploit girls in sex trafficking. Traffickers exploit children in forced labor, in begging, domestic servitude, small businesses, and potentially in the fishing industry. In past years, some children were coerced to commit crimes. Despite your opinion on Madonna's personal politics or the conservative anti-LGBTQ policies of Malawi, the question remains, does Madonna even have a right to adopt children from Malawi? Is adoption a human right that shouldn't be impeded despite a person's citizenship status? Or does a country's responsibility to protect its underage and vulnerable citizens trump an individual's desire to adopt? These are some very serious accusations being leveled at Madonna. And as a country that has seemingly always struggled with combating human trafficking, maybe they are just being overcautious. Personally, I think that this is really about helping underprivileged children. There is, unfortunately, no shortage of poor and adoptable babies around the world. For whatever reason, if Madonna is no longer welcome in Malawi, she could always take her philanthropic endeavors elsewhere, unless, of course, there's another reason she was operating in Malawi.
Santa baby, slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight.
But what do you think, guys? Is something going on with Madonna and her organization? Do you think that she's using it as a front for human trafficking? Or do you think that this is an issue of a conservative political system fighting against a very openly, socially liberal person? Whatever the case, I hope that the investigation finds answers quickly and is able to help these children. That being said, guys, I've really appreciated all the support here lately. I'm looking forward to collaborating with a few of you guys on future projects. But here in the upcoming future, content is probably going to slow down just a little bit. I want to make sure that the quality keeps improving, and I want to bring you guys longer videos, as well as a greater variety of stuff. So right now, I'm busy working with a bunch of different content creators, trying to expand the Hardlight Network and bring you guys even better content in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, like the video, and until next time, love you guys, safe travels.